Apparently, Amazing Spider-Man released on this day 12 years ago. Andrew Garfield didn't get the proper flowers. And I was guilty of that too, falling into the narratives, the propaganda. Skybound CEO reveals that live-action Invincible movie was apparently pitched 20 years ago. So that would have been 2004, which is crazy because when you think about like how Invincible kind of goes, it just makes you wonder like how would that have like worked? You know what I'm saying? Like how would that have really flown? Or would they have diluted it down to fit the 2000s aesthetic? Because not a lot of superhero stuff went super edgy. Why am I dropping so many fucking frames, dude? Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, let me turn my music back on. Music back on. I'm gonna close this shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stream that game. Invincible almost had a live action film 20 years ago before hitting an animated series. Skybound CEO David Alpert sat down with Dick Serto to discuss the long journey in adapting the animated series, and it all started with a failed live action film that was pitched 20 years ago. Invincible was a massive hit since its debut in 2021. Despite a long wait for season 2 to kick off 2023, the show is more popular than ever, and more is confirmed to be on the way. While we now live in an age where the animation medium is more diverse than ever, which, to be fair, I feel like we need to stop leaning in so much to live action. I think one of the downfalls of Disney is that they're trying to hit the live action niche when like animation has its place. There's a reason that anime has gone so mainstream and animation is becoming so popular. There's a reason that Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse work. There's certain things that you will never be able to convey in a live action sense. While we now live in an age where the animation medium is more diverse than ever and filled with unique projects, some of which are particularly catered to a more adult audience, creating an adaptation that was faithful to Robert Kirkman's comic book source material was no easy sell for Skybound. During an interview with Gamescom, David Alpert admitted that developing an adaptation has been almost 20-year-long endeavor for the company. When did the Invincible comic? 2003. They was trying to make a live action movie a year and some later, when this ended up being 15 years of material. Anyways, the funny thing is we originally put this together as a movie almost 20 years ago. I'll leave the studio's name out, the executive name and the executives' names out. They came to us, and this is pre-MCU, and they said to us, listen, that's amazing, but we've done our market research out there, and audiences don't want to see more than one superhero on screen at a time. That was a very big thing. I remember when Avengers came out in 2011 or 2012, I can't remember. When the first Avengers movie came out, people were really shocked at how well it did. It was a hidden gem. Everyone was like, they're somehow having all of these heroes who we've seen in their solo movies together, but they're balanced and it's working. And they feed off each other well. And people were surprised by the humor. I know a lot of people hate the humor of the MCU now, but there's a time where like their ability to shift between the humorous and the serious was really, really on point. Fast forward to 2024, and it's safe to say putting multiple heroes on screen together is far from a failure. Avengers Endgame featured over 60 heroes in the same frame, one of the biggest box office successes of all time. A fact Alpert now mentioned is a fresh challenge for Invincible after finally getting adaptation off the ground. We lived through the entire Avengers, so now we're at a point where people are like, oh, well, these are all, there's all these events with superheroes that we're gonna have to find our own lane. Alpert also highlighted the unique hurdles that the team had to overcome, wanting to develop an animated series very much built for an adult audience. There's no hour-long animation, there's no drama, so the idea of being like, hey, what if we did a show that really looked like an after-school show that we all grew up with, but we treated the characters seriously and it was rated R. Facts. It does look like what I watched on my Saturday morning cartoons or when I got home from school, but for me now as an adult. We're gonna punch people in half. We're ripping people's heads off. We're gonna beat them upside the head with their arms. Despite the trepidation in creating a gritty animated series that still presents itself like a conventional superhero product, Alfred and Skybound were committed to the vision Kirkman had created with the original comic. We really made a push there, and everyone's like, "Hey, it looks what? That's great. Love that they want to do that. How am I making it a half hour? How am I making it like PG-13?" And we're like, no, it needs to be an hour. The whole point is it needs to be an adult. This is not for adults. This is not for kids. So for us, it was really about being very committed to doing it that way. But also, again, the same thing. There's been so many superhero stories told. First two seasons currently, yada, yada, yada. So that's the story about how Invincible came to be the show that it is. Definitely would be interested to have a conversation. It's funny that the CEO who's there currently was there 20 years ago. Granted, he's a co-founder too, so has he always been the David Alper? Let's see. How long has been CEO of Skybound? Oh, Robert Kirkman also helped found Skybound. Okay, well, anyways. Watch Dogs live action has entered production. I mean, video game adaptations aren't doing terrible right now, but I don't know. Do y'all care? I'm kind of meh. I'll be honest, I actually never finished the Watch Dogs games. It's one of those things where, like, the time in my life I was at when I finally got my hands on it, I didn't have time to play. And now I have, like, no time to play games ever. So, but yeah, Watch Dogs live action, into production. I think that's all we know. I don't know why they do this. It's like, just let us know when a trailer comes out. But if anyone's a big Watch Dogs fan, just know a movie's coming soon. Star Wars Outlaws officially gone gold. So what that means, for those of you who don't understand, it basically means that the version of the game, the build that will release on August 30th is complete. It has had its last push of code. So this is their, let me pause music. This is their Gone Gold trailer. Star Wars Outlaws Gone Gold. So yeah, that just means that it's ready to be shipped. For those who are like Steve Kenobi, just means it won't be delayed. It doesn't mean that no updates will come. Before, when a game went gold, it did mean like, this is what the fuck you're getting. Now, you know, we're in a day and age where we can push updates, which is a good thing, but it can be a bad thing too.